Little bit more, 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 little bit more. I hope you understand what I'm saying to you. Little bit more, little bit more. Never had a relationship, now I'm telling you with you.
Man, you better send that shit to Hayden.
Playing on my mind is there anything that the PS4 Pro still does better, or could still do better than the Scorpio?
Well, kind of no.
The big question I want to know is Scorpio going to be better than the PS4 Pro?
Well, almost certainly yes.
All right, well, thank you very much for watching.
My friends, is hardcore, but there's actually even more to this story, much more.
What's happening, YouTube? It's KMega405 live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. Now, as the gentleman said, there is so much more to come, and if you've lived under a rock, or if you are a highly supreme hater of anything Xbox or Microsoft, you would probably give two damns about what was going on today. But when I checked it out, it was around 11 a.m. this morning. I had to work, and I was trying to hurry up and get some downtime so I could try to watch it, and I got that downtime, and I came out impressed. Just for the mere fact, I was impressed when I made the video the other day talking about how, you know, for having anybody from Digital Foundry talk about the specs was just huge. And it was just like I was saying, it was the rabbit now has the gun, because that shows that the Xbox had to deliver. And sure enough, as the man said himself, you know, the Xbox delivered. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it, just listen to him say it.
Scorpio's dashboard, well, now that can render at native 4K, something that wasn't possible on Xbox One S. Okay, so Microsoft has delivered, or indeed over-delivered, on all promises thus far.
And with him saying that, I think that was a sigh of relief for all pro Xbox gamers, was the fact that there wasn't no gimmicks, there was no shucking and jiving. This was actually authentic. Killer Phil came out there and expressed how much that he was upset. He said it publicly about the whole narrative that the PlayStation was more powerful. I mean, if you go back to the beginning of the generation, there were execs that was pretty upset about this whole power gap situation, that, you know, saying that it wasn't PlayStation 4 was now 50% more powerful. You know, the resolution gap is not as bad as as people are led to believe. But now Microsoft has done the coup de grace. The one thing that it's done is silence the resolution babies, because anybody that wanted to bring up the point about resolutions and power, the Scorpio is definitely it. And also, there were so many different, there were so many different people that were making the assumption that this was kind of like a next gen console. That's where it's even more fascinating, because with the components that's in this machine, it can't be. I mean, because when you have Ryzen, and everybody was anticipating that Ryzen, I mean, from everybody from the next podcast, from BGST, from PlayStation channels, everybody was anticipating that Ryzen. I mean, you had even the kind of funny guys even saying stuff about Ryzen.
Sony, and they're forcing the issue now is because Neo is an incremental step. Scorpio isn't an incremental step. Scorpio is a quantum leap compared to the Xbox One in a lot of ways.
That's what they said.
But like they have developers now in that sizzle reel and all that kind of stuff. Like it seems like, to me, what I think, like my kind of outside theory is that it's not coming out next year, and that like it's going to and that it's going to get delayed because like the components are very expensive. They need to give it time to cool off a little bit on the market. Neo, meanwhile, I think was already locked in. I think Sony was probably horrified when they saw the Scorpio and what it was.
And really, Microsoft duped everybody. You know, I've seen even a couple of people that were saying that Killer Phil lied because, you know, everybody was thinking that they were going to be using a better technology or whatever, and Phil never said that. You know, nobody from the Xbox staff said that they were going to use Ryzen. It was us podcasters. It was, you know, just people just speculating, because if anything has to be 4K, we didn't think that it would be, you would still use the Jaguar old tech. And that's another thing about this that is just absolutely fascinating, because not only did Microsoft find an efficient way to not only use the cheaper components, but it still achieves what they promised. And this leads to a lot of huge, big and better things down the line. Like, so by the time that Ryzen is, you know, pretty much old tech, but with their new technology, I mean, they could really push and take the next Xbox to the next level. Like, we're talking about insane levels. So, I mean, kudos to Microsoft. Really, really, really kudos, because they found the secret sauce, and also that little secret word that nobody didn't like to say, that little magic unicorn, DirectX 12. It's all up inside the innards of this Scorpio, and it's just amazing to see what the tech was. And then for the guy from Digital Foundry to say that this was unreal. I mean, he's been doing this for a very long time. He's an older gentleman, so he would know a lot about this tech. And to say that this is the first time that he's heard about this, I mean, we're actually seeing Microsoft actually being the new Apple. And for all the naysayers that were thinking that Xbox was not being serious and wanted to be more of a service, I think they wanted to give the big middle finger to a lot of people that were trying to basically boot them out. So now the big thing that everybody's going to talk about is the games, which it wasn't about that in the total beginning. It wasn't about that really so much last year. Definitely wasn't 2015. So now we're going to be talking about the games. It's going to be going back to what it was supposed to be from the very beginning. And the funny thing that I find about this is that Xbox last game was this one right here, which was in February. The next games that will come out, there will be before E3, will be Voodoo Vince, and there will be Phantom Dust, and maybe some other stuff. But the funny thing about this is that, oh, nobody cares about Voodoo Vince. Nobody cares. But do really anybody care about Gravity Rush 2 or Yakuza or Kingdom Hearts, Tales of Vesperia? You know, PlayStation has brought out a lot of games, but they had to throw the baby in the kitchen sink and everything else because they knew that this behemoth was on its way. So they have to. But it does bring up a really good discussion about what's coming up for the PlayStation 5 and for the future of games for the PlayStation, because I do not think that they could throw out a lot of games when they're also working on a new console. Remember, Microsoft has a lot more resources, and it was pretty amazing to see that the older games is going to get 4K love as well. So the list that a lot of us posted of those 100 games is insane, because that actually is a confirmation without even saying it's a confirmation. Check it out.
Is that this is a straight Xbox One port. The only Scorpio enhancement is the resolution and the inclusion of 4K art assets. This means that yes, we will see 1080p Xbox One games running at native 4K on Scorpio. But more than that, the fact that the hardware is kind of underutilized means that there's a ton of GPU power left over for making the game look much better.
Man, that is just bananas. I mean, we're talking about PC style tech that's going to come to a console, and just think about the backwards compatible games that's going to look absolutely amazing, and plus the games that's in your library that you have that's going to look and take its own, you know, it just is going to look amazing. I definitely want to hear everybody's thoughts about this. I'm totally excited. I hope you are too. Everybody have a good one.